Cool. So let's now look at primer phases. These aren't talked about as much as the other phases, but they can be a very useful part of a diet. And it's a short phase designed to mitigate fatigue and prepare the body for a future phase of muscle building and fat loss. The key point here, it's part of a nutrition and training plan. So these two things come together. It's basically a recovery phase to clear up accumulated fatigue, restore performance, and get the client to get ready to train again psychologically. So we drop fatigue from previous training cycles. We want to basically enter the next phase with higher energy levels, better performance, and fewer aches and pains. So it's a recharge. I would use it in someone who's had like niggles, aches, pains, injuries while doing stuff in their current hypertrophy or strength phase, and then moving to the next one. It would be more for performance-based goals than it would be for body composition-based goals, simply because of the nature of the phase. Now, the length should be about 4 weeks. 4 weeks is more than enough time to recover from accumulated fatigue, to still maintain fitness and not have any kind of critical drop-off, and then to get someone ready for that type of training. So very short-term phase, okay? So how we implement it, same calories as a maintenance phase, so we do TDEE. We don't want to have any stresses from a caloric deficit, and we don't really want the stresses that are associated with a caloric surplus. You could make an argue for a small surplus, but because we're going to drop the volume down, which is part number 2, by like 40% in training at least, and doing things to 4 reps in reserve, it's going to significantly reduce fatigue. So people are going to feel like a bit average the first couple of sessions. What they'll notice though in the first couple of sessions, they'll have that it effect. So what that means is they'll feel like they're not doing enough training. That's a really good sign, because what it'll do is that will lead to the rapid deaccumulation of fatigue and reduction of it. Now, rest and recovery, we prioritize that over that period, and we focus on mobility and any kind of corrective strategies to make sure everything works out okay. Now, the major downsides is people might feel frustrated or get bored from not having the same routine. There are no downsides. It's a potential also improvement in training performance in subsequent phases. So anytime you can ameliorate fatigue for a client who's in a performance-based sport or performance-based goals, you're going to improve their outcomes. There's no risk, because simply we're reducing everything. In fact, it lowers the risk of pretty much every negative outcome that someone can have. So how we do it: reduce training volume, train at 4 reps in reserve, avoid excessive cardio and high intensity training. We can do some zone 2 work, generally off knees as well, which means on something like a bike or elliptical where it's pretty easy, there's very low joint impact, or swimming if they don't suck at it, because swimming can be very stressful if you're terrible at it. We want to have adequate rest days and recovery, and we want to adjust load by dropping it down. So a real summary of this type of phase: we want to reduce fatigue and prepare the body for a new phase. Again, it's very much performance-based outcome. From there, we want to have 4 weeks to allow for sufficient recovery and readiness, match the calories at TDEE, reduce our training volume and down to 4 reps in reserve. Our clients may feel a little bit bored or frustrated. By the end, they should feel good and ready to go, and no significant risk if the training phase is followed properly.